I remember like a year before I started making music, I said to my friend, I was like, oh, I'm gonna be big, I'm gonna be famous. And she was like, okay, sure. And I was like, yeah, we'll see.
Because some people, when it comes to music, they think that the art is enough, like the music is enough.
Right, gotta have this and that.
You gotta have the business plan.
PinkPantheress is one of the most unique artists to blow up in this modern age of music. From humble beginnings on TikTok to being internationally recognized as a major figure in the pop world, her reach and influence is huge. So let's talk about how she's been able to bypass the traditional industry standards when it comes to making it as a global pop star, and show fans the eclectic and glamorous world of PinkPantheress. When I first saw PinkPantheress on my FYP, it felt like she came out of nowhere. Her style was so unique, blending the art of sampling, which has its roots in hip-hop, into something distinctly her own. As she sees herself as a producer first, it's no surprise that her samples stand out in her sound. This can be seen on tracks like Pain, which samples Sweet Female Attitude's drum pattern, and Last Valentine, which lifts the guitar riff off of Linkin Park's Forgotten. The use of these samples also gives her music another layer of depth, as it doesn't just invite listeners to spot familiar sounds, but reinforces her image as a resourceful, independent artist who broke through during lockdown.
I took a break, as I said, from producing. I let other people do it. And I was watching them, I was like, you know what? That looks really fun, but actually I'm glad I'm not doing it. But now I'm like, actually I'm so glad I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Just go, it's just nice.
On top of samples, she's been on point with her collaborations. From Kate Trinata to Central C to Destroy Lonely, she finds a way to blend her sound with each artist's style while tapping into their audiences. And her music taste and collaborations aligns with her personality, subtle, eclectic, and a little polarizing.
Who you ever want to like work with?
I've always wanted to do something really like random. Weirdly, I feel like someone like a Lil Wayne would be just so random. Or like someone from like, or even a rock background, like a Linkin Park would be really cool.
Songwriting is another reason she started to take music more seriously. Her lyrics often reflect personal experiences or observations of those around her. She also layers and harmonizes her own vocals quite a bit, sometimes blending them into the beat, a very simple but impactful production choice that deepens the emotion of her songs. Importantly, she's not afraid to be personal, and in many ways her music could be therapeutic for her and a way for her to make sense of her life as a celebrity in this crazy age of social media.
I'm trying to think of which line to recite. Oh, I say in the song, I'm like, I'm not able to tell you what you need. It's a shame cause I should be honest more. One day I'm sure I'll figure out the reason I was telling lies for. And that is me saying, one day I'll figure out how to stop lying, but for now it's good. And I guess that was written from my 13-year-old perspective.
TikTok and PinkPantheress have been synonymous with one another since day one. It's been the platform that's fueled her rise, with her being the first to admit it, and even now she's still active on there and doesn't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon.
When was the first time you realized you'd succeeded? Because same big thing that success is important to you.
Honestly, when my first TikTok blew up, with all I do use TikTok for and wanted to use it for was for music.
And it's not just about chasing trends, as TikTok was her launch pad, and really it's the quickest way to build a fan base in today's age. And it's clear that everything she's done beyond that starting point has showed that she has a vision beyond just going viral. One thing in particular that's worked really well with her on TikTok is how short her songs are. Her debut project To Hell With It has 10 songs, and you'd probably assume that means she has about 30 minutes of music, yeah? Nah, that shit is 18 minutes long. Some tracks are barely 90 seconds long. You barely have any time to fully take in the songs in one listen, but that's a part of the appeal. On TikTok, those bite-sized moments work perfectly. And then when people jump over onto Spotify, her songs feel just as snackable and replayable, and her music becomes more memorable because it's short, addictive, and easy to revisit. But with that being said, having really short songs can sometimes feel like her songs lack substance and people might question the depth of her work. But at this point, she has a really strong track record of releasing successful shorter songs, and I'm sure if she wanted to, she could stretch them out to dive deeper into different themes or experiment with new styles.
I had to speak to my friend. I voiced my worries. I was like, you know, like what happens if I get to a point where I just release release constant bullshit and you know my HP goes down, like what happened? And he was like, you are here because you have an ear in the first place, and your ear will get you far because you won't allow yourself to release something which is objectively bad.
But let's be real, although TikTok is powerful, it can also trap artists. There's a stigma around that comes with being just a TikTok artist. You've probably heard the label before, a TikTok rapper or a TikTok singer, and if PinkPantheress continued to use that same TikTok marketing strategy, then she might have been boxed into that as well. But she broke out of it. She's found a balance, still using TikTok to lean into trends, but also experimenting with new sounds, collaborating with unexpected artists, and refusing to shape every release for TikTok virality.
In order to break through from an app like that, you kind of have to wean yourself off slightly, not saying completely, not like jump ship, ghost, or anything like that. I'm saying you just kind of have to, okay, you see me on TikTok, but now you're seeing me on Instagram. Okay, you see me on TikTok, now you're seeing me on YouTube.
And staying on the topic of TikTok, where trends are everything, I want to dive into another creative outlet for PinkPantheress, how she's embraced and become a key player in popularizing the Y2K aesthetic. When it comes to the modern Y2K aesthetic, PinkPantheress has played a massive role in reintroducing that era to a younger audience. While it may not resemble the exact Y2K aesthetic of the late 90s, she's been able to take bits and pieces from that time and incorporate it into her style as an artist. And it's not just about what she throws on here and there, but rather it's baked into her identity as an artist. She's been repping that style since day one, and she claims that it's really shaped her personality as she's grown older.
Like, I remember when I was growing up, I was obsessed with being different, and I feel like during 2011 to 2015, when everyone was like really like, there was suddenly this big thing of like, oh, I need to fit in, I need to buy this, suddenly by like 2019, I feel like people were like, you know what, I don't care, I'm gonna dress this way, I'm gonna dress emo, I'm gonna dress goth.
You can really see that influence in her visuals as well, like with the Nice to Meet You music video with Central C feeling like it could have been ripped straight off MTV in the early 2000s. The dances, old school work outfits, and that clean white backdrop, it's all very Y2K, but creates a fusion with the grimy UK feel thanks to Central C's influence. But it's not just in the music or in the videos, but her actual outfits with the way that she presents herself as well. Rocking bangs, chunky belts, and flared leggings, she's really tapped into that throwback feel, and not just doing it to look different, but rather making it a part of her personality.
I just feel like the 2000s were just a time in like history where it was cool to be different, cool to be misunderstood, and I feel like things like TikTok and stuff is like, there's no better time for teenagers or like, you know, just young adults to feel like they're different and unique.
Being able to evoke nostalgia is a powerful trait for an artist, and with PinkPantheress, it's kinda crazy because she manages to create that nostalgic feeling for her fans who didn't even live through that era she's referencing. Like back in the 2000s, you had artists like Aaliyah, Britney Spears, TLC, all of them repping a similar aesthetic, but now you have PinkPantheress also channeling that same energy. And she's not just copying what worked back then, but rather she's reintroducing it into the new generation in her own way. And as long as her audience is open to it, she's able to give them a taste of that time. It's like she's offering a nostalgic experience, and even if it's secondhand, it still feels real. And that connection she builds through her influence is what makes her work resonate so strongly.
I feel like nostalgia is such a thing because I feel like whenever people think about nostalgia, they're thinking back to like the 2000s and stuff, and obviously there's such a resurgence of like 2000s things. If it's fashion or like aesthetic or whatever, like people love it these days.
And now releasing her third project, Fancy That, it's fascinating to see her evolve in real time. She's stepping things up with a proper album slash mixtape rollout and really starting to play around with different concepts in her music videos, all while staying true to those drum and bass influenced pop rhythms that defined her sound. And she definitely still has a lot of potential, and it'll be really interesting to see where her career goes into the future.